Hello everybody, my name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today we're going to be talking about the Southern Baptist Convention and how they are letting a woke corporation determine their ecclesiology, and that's what's going to happen at the upcoming annual Southern Baptist Convention, which is next week. So very short period of time, but we do have a last minute surprise which could shake things up, could shake the direction. I doubt it though, but let us take a look at the tweet heard around the Southern Baptist world, and that is this tweet by Guidepost Solutions. Guidepost Solutions is the organization that put out the Sex Abuse Task Force report. And, just a point of order on the Sex Abuse Task Force report. I've done a lot of content on this report because I've actually read this report. And additionally, they also released a database, the database of sex abusers in the church, which is all public domain, or at least all the ones that weren't redacted were public domain. And a lot of them, a significant proportion of that list, weren't even examples that came from the Southern Baptist Convention. So it was a very bad list. Any background check would have flagged any one of those people that was convicted would have been caught in a background check. So it was not that big of a deal, because if a church isn't willing to do a background check, they're also going to not be willing to check a Guidestone or a denominational database. But anyway, I do digress. The report also accused Johnny Hunt of sexual assault. But additionally, the report also covered up a lot. Again, you can listen to the interview I did with Bobby Lopez, a sex abuse survivor and advocate, on this report. Anyway, back to this tweet by Guidepost Solutions. Guidepost, again, they're a woke corporation. This has been known, but on this tweet, they're just rubbing your noses in it. And game recognized game. I think this is pretty funny from a trolling's point of view, because, so many Southern Baptists, put a lot of stake in this corporation's report. And to be honest, the fact that they support homosexuality, the fact that they support transgenderism, shows that they're not credible on the issue of sex abuse, specifically the transgenderism. Because if you support transgenderism, you inherently are also supporting something that's always been connected to child abuse, child sex abuse, if you go back to John Money and all the history of transgenderism. So anyway, not very credible. Additionally, this is how sad the Southern Baptist Convention is at the current moment. Is that Guidestone in the report makes several recommendations, and here's the key. When I say that the Southern Baptist Convention is being driven by a woke corporation, this is what I'm talking about, because this is a recommendation to establish a survivor compensation fund program, which, by the way, considering the people that are some of the examples that are listed in this report, not all of them would really be survivors. Not all of these examples would really be sex abuse. The example that comes to mind is Jennifer Lyle, who's repeatedly favored in this report as a victim of sex abuse and a survivor. She is neither of those things. So anyway, we recommend that the compensation program be supported by a dedicated permanent fund established and replenished with cooperative program dollars and or selling of SBC assets prioritized by the Southern Baptist Convention Executive Committee. So they want tithe money for missions to go towards creating a compensation fund program, which, again, the debate on this issue has been really stupid. And by really stupid, I'm talking like, you got dudes out there, I think it's Grant Gaines, either that or Griffin Gulledge. Griffin Gulledge did write a piece in the Gospel Coalition, which I did an article on, promoting how we cannot run from our responsibilities. First of all, this shows a complete disregard for Baptist polity. This cooperation is for missions, not for liability. Second of all, and I think this is pretty important, the misuse of Bible verses to guilt Christian believers into funding a program to pretty much take responsibility for other people's sins, putting it mildly, is wrong. The people that committed the sin should be the ones that pay the recompense. The missions money, because, if I give to a church, I don't want that church using that money, my money, because that's ultimately saying is you're paying because someone else diddled a child. And that's not your burden. That's not what you intend money that goes to missions to do. So and what we're going to see at the Southern Baptist Convention is that the Sex Abuse Task Force report made a bunch of recommendations. Someone at the Southern Baptist Convention, because it is an annual meeting, will make a motion on the floor to summarily adopt the recommendations of the Sex Abuse Task Force report created by Guidepost Solutions. Guidepost Solutions, which is a woke corporation, that has no regard for Baptist polity because most of its solutions incorporated creating another bureaucracy, another layer of bureaucracy to combat something that most churches seem to handle because it's, again, very few churches proportionately mishandled it, even in the part where it's getting down to the executive, the credentials committee, where most of the cases were either ongoing, but a lot of the closed ones were actually handled decently. The problem, of course, with the system is that getting cases up to, getting the portal being dysfunctional and the communications being dysfunctional. That's an issue with that. But when the executive or the credentials committee actually did deal with it, it seemed like a lot of the instances resolved themselves because it'd be like the church didn't hire this person as a result, or the person got arrested. So, or they left the Southern Baptist Convention, or they were actually decredentialed. So anyway, the motion on the floor will not get a lot of debate. It won't. It won't get the debate that a motion like that should get. If it gets 5 minutes of debate, that's a long time. If it gets 10 minutes, that would be a miracle. It won't get that long. The Southern Baptist messengers will vote yay because they will do. Someone will second it, obviously, and then it will be affirmed because people don't go to the Southern Baptist Convention prepared. They don't go to the They go to the Southern Baptist Convention to schmooze and to have a good time. That's why they go. And to celebrate being a Southern Baptist because there's Southern Baptist culture. That's why people go to the Southern Baptist Convention. But to actually fight for the church, that's a minority of people. So anyway, don't expect the Southern Baptist Convention to come out of this wiser. And they will adopt these recommendations, and I would be shocked if they put any stipulations on it. So anyway, I think this is, the end of the Southern Baptist Convention is near, and I gotta say, it's interesting to watch. It's interesting to watch because there's this last minute drama like Guidepost Solutions just trolling the Southern Baptist Convention a week ahead of its convention. Like they waited a week almost to drop that tweet because someone in the HR social media marketing department already had that made. Like it's not hard, and they chose a pretty weird flag, so it sounds like they put even less effort into it. But they had that made. Just to troll, I think. Troll their own client. But anyway, they got paid, and now they're driving the Southern Baptist Convention. And the point that I made in my own Twitter post in response to this was that they are going to have more influence over the Southern Baptist Convention than the Bible, than God. Book it. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. My name is Ray. This is the Evangelical Dark Web. If you like this kind of content, also subscribe to the channel. If you really like this kind of content, we also got a Patreon-like system over at evangelicaldarkweb.org. You can support us for as little as $5 a month. Leave a comment below about what you think, about what I think, and I'll catch you on the next one.